Flakes, Thursday morning, Rob Ryan, Kent Bergstrom, Amy Sherman, John Gonzalez, co-hosts of Behind the Mitten, runs Sunday morning at 7 on today's hits 95.3 CFX. But every Thursday we get a little preview of the weekend show. But first we have to say good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Wow, somebody's awake.
Wow. Well, let's talk about this weekend because this is one of our favorite shows because we love Mackinac Island.
Yeah, Mackinac Island, one of my favorite places. Wife and I go many times over the summer. But you guys got a little something special for us this weekend.
We sure do. We just came off the island this past weekend. It was opening weekend for about half of the businesses there. And we are so thrilled to bring this show to everyone because we get to go to 3 different places across the island and tell you all the new things that are happening across that little rock up there in the Straits of Mackinac. And we kick off the show with our friend Steph from the Mackinac Island Tourism Bureau. She updates us on some cool things that are happening out at Arch Rock at the Mackinac State Parks and some other things that are happening, including you two nerds. There's going to be a new carousel arcade going in at Market Street, featured by the Bicycle Inn. You're going to be able to play some video games while you're on the island if you want to.
Okay.
Perfect. Just drop me off there, and you guys go do your stuff, and then pick me up on the way back to the ferry.
Do they have the horses out back walking on treadmills to provide the power for that? I mean, is that what they're now? John, what else is happening on the show this weekend? What?
Well, no, like I said, speaking of horses, so right now Amy and I learned that they're still on their winter weight. So when they're up there early in the season, they've got to work it off because they put on
me too
over the winter.
Me too.
Winter weight on the Mackinac Island horses. I've never heard that before.
You will find that out on our show. The other cool thing is that we also head over to Stonecliff, the Inn at Stonecliff, Grand Hotel, which always has something new going on. But we end the show at Mission Point Resort, where they really up their game with food, drinks. They have a cool margarita that in honor of Denny, one of the founders who passed away earlier this year. So it's just a fun event. But they're going to also get this, they're going to do a Beatles tribute. Actually, it's a Paul McCartney tribute. And this guy is no joke. He's toured the world, and he's going to be like an artist in residency there at Mission Point Resort all summer long. I believe it's Wednesday through Sunday, 3:00 shows. Tickets are $25 to go. It's like recreating the music of Wings and all the greatest hits of the Beatles. And it's a full vintage show. He wears the gear. They play vintage instruments. He even learned to play left-handed to play, to mimic Paul McCartney. I think this is going to be a new addition, a great addition to the Mackinac Island this summer.
It sounds like a fun thing, and that's out at Mission Point. You said this coming weekend. We're going to talk all about that. You're going to talk all about that. It's Behind the Mitten, Sunday morning, 7:00, all about Mackinac Island. Any other little preview that you can sneak to us this morning, or was everything else a secret?
I will say if anyone wants to come and hang out with me on Saturday, I'm going to be in Gaylord at Treetops Resort for Grill on the Hill, judging the barbecue contest. So come eat ribs with me.
And then catch Behind the Mitten Sunday morning at 7 a.m. And we're talking this morning, these are your jobs to go out and do these things, but it's certainly fun. But we're actually this morning talking about first ever paying job.
I've been reminiscing a little with the breakfast flakes here. So think back, a couple of years to your first ever job you actually got paid for.
Yeah, ever got paid for.
John?
Which one?
Well, mine has no great story other than I was in 8th grade, and I wrote an article about my basketball team for the local newspaper, and I got paid $5.
$5 whole dollars.
My first published story.
Yeah, and look at what that wound up being your career. Most people's first paying job doesn't turn out to be their career.
True story. I bought a bottle of Mountain Dew and baseball cards and spent it all. So there you go.
Perfect.
And you're supposed to say, and I have no other skills, so I had to keep it this. Say this. Couldn't do nothing else.
All right, first job, Amy.
Well, besides babysitting, which I feel like that doesn't even count, I worked at the local library, the Bacon Memorial Public Library. I petitioned the city to get this job when I was like 13 years old. And I worked up in the historical home, cutting out stories from the newspaper, the print newspaper, taping it onto pieces of paper, and then sending it through the microfiche to get photographed. Microfiche usage. You can tell how old I am.
Yeah, well, somebody's got to do it, right?
Exactly.
That stuff doesn't show up on microfiche magically.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad it was something in the background because Amy Sherman and library don't kind of go together. They just don't seem like they should.
I
They should
I
be
was
together.
thinking it was going to be I got my first easy bake oven, and I was selling little brownies out on the corner for $0.25.
Those are my side hustles, guys. All right.
That's
She's still doing
Still
things,
doing that.
Still doing those ones. Sunday morning, 7 o'clock. It's Behind the Mitten. Appreciate your time this morning. Have a great weekend.